Hello, General Mathematics students. In this particular video, I will discuss simple and compound interest. Hopefully, this video will help you understand better your lesson in Quarter 2, Module 1 of General Mathematics. Have you encountered the subject matters about interest, loan, savings, finances, expenses, and investment when you were in junior high school or even in elementary? You can actually encounter those not only in school but anywhere you go, like your home, market, malls, banks, and other public places. This lesson helps you understand thoroughly what is simple interest and compound interest. It will let you decide correctly on how and where to save. Nowadays, savings is very important. After going through this presentation, you are expected to: number 1, illustrate simple and compound interest, and number 2, distinguish between simple and compound interests. These are the terms that you might encounter in this lesson. Simple interest, denoted by capital letter I, subscript S. Interest that is computed on the principal. The interest remain constant throughout the term. Lender or creditor, person or institution who invests the money or makes the fund available. Borrower or debtor, person or institution who owes the money or avails of the funds from the lender. Origin or loan date, date on which money is received by the borrower. Repayment date or maturity date, date on which the money borrowed loan is to be completely repaid. Term or time, denoted by small letter t, amount of time in years the money is borrowed or invested. Length of time between the origin and maturity date. Principal, denoted by capital letter P, amount of money borrowed or invested on the original date. Rate, denoted by small letter r, annual rate, usually in percent, charged by the lender, rate of increase of the investment. Interest, small letter I, amount paid or earned for the use of money. Maturity value or future value, in this particular lesson, we will denote it by capital letter A, but if you will look at the other books or if you're using other references, these are also denoted by capital letter F. Amount after 3 years that the lender receives from the borrower on the maturity date. There is money in money. If you borrow money or make a loan, you return an amount which is higher than what you have borrowed. If you save or invest your money in a bank or any financial institution, the amount returned will be higher than your savings or investment. The difference between the amount you returned or is returned and the amount you borrowed or invested is called the interest. Most of us view interest as the amount paid for the lender for the use of money. There are two types of interests: simple interest and compound interest. The most common measure of interest is the simple interest. Let's take a look at example number 1. Mr. Cruz is planning to invest his 10,000 pesos. Two banks offer him a 3% interest rate. Bank A offers 3% simple interest payable for 3 years, while Bank B offers a 3% interest compounded annually payable for 5 years. Find which of the two banks offer him a good deal. So let's take a look at Bank A, which offers simple interest for 3 years. So in the first column, we have the time, denoted by small letter t. Second column, we have the principal, denoted by capital letter P. And then we have here interest. So you have I subscript S for simple interest. And in this column, you have the solution, the answer, and then maturity value, denoted by capital letter A. So when time is 1, our principal is 10,000. So our solution would be 10,000 times 3%. If we convert it to decimal, that would be 0.03. Take note, when we say percent, that's per 100. So 3 divided by 100 is 0.03 times time, which is 1. So the answer is 300. This is the interest. So the maturity value is the sum of the principal plus the interest, 10,300 after 1 year. After 2 years, again, the principal is 10,000. The interest would be 600. So we have 10,000 times rate 0.03. This time our time is 2. So we plug into here at 600. The maturity value is 10,600. For 3 years, again, the principal is 10,000. The interest, we have 10,000 times 0.03 times 3. That's the time. So the interest is 900. The maturity value is 10,900. Now, I would like to continue this up to 5 years so that we can compare the maturity value for 5 years between simple interest and compound interest. So for 3 years, Bank A will have a maturity value of 10,900. Now, if we continue it to 5 years, for 4 years, we have this 4. Principal is 10,000. Our solution for interest, 10,000 times 0.03 times 4. That's the time. The interest would be 1,200. The maturity value is 11,200. For 5 years, this 5, principal is 10,000. Interest is 10,000 times 0.03 times the time, which is 5. Answer 1,500. So this is the interest for 5 years. Maturity value is 11,500. Now, the problem with this method is, what if your time is 50 years or 30 years? So it would be very long. So we make a generalization. So we have time t, principal, capital letter P, interest. So we have the interest, we use the formula principal times rate times time. So maturity value is P, principal, times the quantity 1 plus rate times time. So next time you can make use of this formula if you're computing for simple interest. All right. Now, so using the formula, simple interest is P times R times T, where I subscript S is interest, capital letter P is the principal amount, small letter R is rate, then small letter T is time. Now for the maturity value, we have the formula A is capital letter P times the quantity 1 plus R times T, where capital letter A is maturity value. So the R and T and the P are defined here. Okay. Example, let's go back to the example. We are given the principal, then that should be 10,000, sorry. Rate 3%, so 0.03. Time is 5 years. Find the maturity value. So our solution, we use the formula A equals P times quantity R plus quantity 1 plus R times T. So we plug in the value P, 10,000. So you have 1 plus R, 0.03. T is 5. So the maturity value is 11,500 for 5 years. Now you can compute for the maturity value for 3 years, and you can check it with the table. Okay, here, table here. Now let's take a look at the bank B compounded annually for 5 years. Okay, again, first column is time, second column principal, then third interest, maturity value. If time is 1, principal is 10,000. Now the interest is 10,000 times 0.03 times 2. That would be 300. Maturity value is 10,300. Now when time is 2 years principal. Now the difference between the compound interest and the simple interest is that in the compound interest, the income from the previous year is included in the computation for the interest for the succeeding year. So, halimbawa dito, sa second year, ang principal natin, kasama na yung kinita niya sa unang taon. Nandito. Para makuha natin yung interest sa pangalawang taon. Okay? So, ito yung sa first year plus sa computation ng interest sa second year, ito yon. Tapos, pagsasamahin natin ito, that would be 609. Okay. So, the maturity value after 2 years compounded annually for 5 years, or okay, so you have 10,609. For 3 years, again, itong kinita niya sa 2 years, idadagdag natin sa principal para makuha natin yung interest niya for 3 years. So, computation, 10,000 times 0.03, ito lang yan, plus 10,300 times 0.03 times 1 plus, ito na, yung para sa third year, 10,609 times 0.03 times 1. So, ang interest niya is 927.27. So, maturity value is 10,927